Welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, we are going to do some customization to the drawer. We will increase the width, then we will add some inputs, form inputs here where we can provide data to add a contact. So let's go ahead and look at the documentation for the drawer. So in the API, let's see whether there is a way to increase the width, and there is. So by default, the width is 256 pixels. Let's check it out. So let's see, drawer and drawer. Let's see. All right. So yeah, it's 256 pixels as it's shown down there. 256 pixels. Yeah. So we want to increase it. Let's see whether we can increase it a little. So you see that's what is here as well. So let's see if we can increase it to say let's double it. So to 256 512. I think this is too big. Let's see, 412. This is okay. So we are going to pass a width to it. To 412, and when we open it, it should be 412. Sorry, I make it 512, so 412. Okay, and there we go. We have it like that. Yeah, we've increased the width. Now let's move on to adding some input, some form input. So let's see how we can add a form to our drawer. So there are several examples we can use, but let's take the basic example here. And when you look at the basic example, it starts with a form where a layout is provided, initial values, unfinished failed. That is when it fails, what the function should trigger when it finishes, what it should that is the success, what it should trigger. And we have the form inputs, the form items with inputs, password and direct. So let's copy this and tweak it to suit us. So in here we're going to paste this here, and let's take off the layout for now, and let's let me take this one off. Yeah, let me take it off. So let's import form, and with the unfinished, let's define, or let's pass it as a prop. Also unfinished field as well. Let's pass it as a prop. All right, so this prop type dot to function is required, and unfinished, the success one is also required. Okay, let's take Let's take this one off. And let's take this 2 also. So this one will be, let's change it to add. Let's import the button. Let's import the input. Yeah. Now let's change this. So let's call this a first name, and by default, you know something, let's define it here. So const initial values, let's put it here, and we'll pass it as a prop. All right, now the username here will now change to first name. When it's required, and the message for this require will be, please input your first name. Changes to the label will be first name. And let's do the same for last name. Let's add the initial value for last name as well. Okay, first name, last name. What else should we add? We should be able to add a phone number. Is there a phone number input we can use? Do they have a phone number? Let's see if this have a phone number input. Nah, we don't really have a phone number input, so we can just use normal input, and yeah, use a normal input and pass type to it. So copy this, phone number. There's a phone number, and let's add it to this, and by default it's nothing. And let's pass a type to this one to be telephone. Now let's go into our app and provide the unfinished. So let's define that handler here. Handle unfinished. Handle form add form. Handle add form unfinished. Yeah, and we're going to provide the stuff. Let's see how it is handled here. So the unfinished, yeah, it gives us the values, and then the field also gives you the error info. So let's values, and you know what, let's add an extra state, and set values, let's call it that, to be an empty object, and when we get it, we're going to set those values in here, and let's provide it to the unfinished. I think we can change this to handle unfinished like we did for close, and let's change it here. We will do the same thing for handle unfinished field. So we will do handle unfinished, handle unfinished field. Yeah. So handle unfinished. We're going to define that for handle unfinished field. This is going to be handle add form unfinished field, and that too we have it function where the error info will be provided, and let's set error. Let's define a state for that as well. Error info. To set error info, it's a string. To set error info, and there we have it. Okay, so that should be good for now. You know what, let's log both the values and the error info. And let's see what happens. So this, all right, so let's go into our app and see what is happening, if everything works. So let's open it, and we have phone number, first name, last name, and then phone number. Now when we click on add, we realize that we had some error info here. For the values there was nothing, because we added nothing. So for the error info, so it's actually an object, so it gives us values in addition to the error fields, and then in addition to out of date, whether it's false or true. So it gives us an array of all the errors. So for example, the first name, the last name, tells us the errors in it. So if we had multiple errors for each field, and we those or rules, and if we had rules for each of them as we've defined in here, if we had multiple of them and we failed them, it will bring them here, but we are failing only one since we provided one. So let's, and we see it gives us some nice UI here. So let's go ahead and add some values. So I've added this and this and that, and when we add, so you notice that because still the form is failing, we don't get it in the values. What we get is we get the values inside the error info, the ones that we provided and the one we didn't provide, and then the error fields. Now is only the phone number that we've not added. So it's telling us that we have, I think, the phone number. So 020111111. Let's add, and now our error fields, what is it saying? Still telling us that please input your phone number, but we are getting all of them here. Why is that? Why is it telling us that we should input phone number? Is it because our phone number is wrong? So let me see something. So 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry. Okay, let's see the last one as well. So some way, somehow, okay, let's check out. So phone number, okay, phone number, all right. So instead of a string, okay, let's do now. Let's see. Uh-huh. So here we are getting nothing for the error info, but for the values, because it's now passing, we are getting everything for the values. So when it's successful, we can actually do an add. Now that since we are not getting anything for error info, um, what we can do is we can use it to do a validation on the app. So let me show you. So what we do is let's pass the error info is an object. So let's pass. No, let's do another one. Let's say form valid. I bet they will have a form valid something that we could use. Maybe. Let's check it out. Let's check the API. So well, we will not have exactly what we need. So for now, let's whip up something ourselves. Maybe later we can take a look at how it's done, how they do it themselves. Okay, I think we can use this. There's one here we can use. So seems like is disabling when form feels touched, and then the errors. Yeah, seems there is something here we can use. So we're going to copy this. Now it is actually what it's doing is creating a form. It's using the use form. I think it should be a hook. Then it's passing it to the form, and then on mount is forcing an update, and this will disable the button, making sure that the button is disabled. All right, so let's first copy these two and let's put it inside our form here. Use states, so and then use effect. So practically what is okay, let's pass this and then let me explain. So what is going on here is that we are going to use a form, I think it's a form instance that we are going to pass to our form here, and then we are going to use this to do a force update when the component gets mounted. So we disable the submit button at the beginning. Yes. So how do we do this disabling? I'm going to copy this and let me explain that to you as well. So what we're doing is, if the form is touched, the fields, like all the fields are touched, and we get the errors, and we filter through, and then there is a length, like we get that there are um, errors, then we disable it. So by default, we force an update on it so that it will trigger it. It will now this force update. It seems it has to be um, passed somewhere. So force update. Let's see. Because we cannot just define something like that and not use it anywhere. So some way, somehow. Okay, so we set force update. All right, let's check out what this is. What this should updates mean in form item. So let's look for form item API. So form, this is a form instance, this is a form provider, this is a form list. Yeah, there is a should update. So this is what it is. It says form updates only the modified field related component for performance optimization purposes by incrementally. Most cases you only need to write code or do validation with a dependent, but in some other cases, such as when a new field appears with a field, or you just want to keep some area updating by formula, you can modify the update logic through. So it's true, any form update will cause the item to be re-rendered. This is very helpful for custom rendering areas. Okay, yeah, so it's saying that when it's set to true, anytime the form updates, it causes the this item to be re-rendered, and I think that's how they are using to achieve. So let's check out the code. So on mount, we do a force update, we re-render it, and when we re-render the form, because we need to put should update here, because we will have should update here, it will re-render this whole thing, and that will cause it to check for the fields, whether it's tagged, whether it's not tagged, or whether there are some errors. And yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, and there is one other thing that I took note of. This portion, I don't really know exactly what is going on, but I will investigate and let you know why that is happening. Then we get to know. But for now, let's just change our button to be wrapped inside this. All right. Okay, let's check it out and make sure that our form is still working. All right, so you see that it did update and disable this. Now that everything is all right, it's enabled. When we take this off, it's disabled. and the back is enabled. So some way somehow with the additions we make, it checks for the errors on whether the fields have not been touched. Then it does that. It does the first update for us. All right. Okay. So that should be it for now. So in the next lesson, what we'll do is whenever everything is validated, we click on add. We want to close this and want to display the contacts on the page so we see it.